Now Flow Hive operate two different styles. They operate the National and the Langstroth hive system. Langstroth is a different size to the National, and if you do some research online you'll quickly realise what's best for you. It's important to note as well that if you do buy directly from Flow Hive you can't get a full National system. You can only get a full Flow Hive Langstroth system. I already operate National Hives, I've got 2 of them, so a lot of my investment is already there and in place. And because I only want to simplify the honey harvesting method, that's why I've gone just for the super, which they've done in a National Hive size. So, opening up the boxes, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and this would be 8, and I suspect this is going to be the Flow Hives themselves. We've got the National 7-inch deep brood box which we're going to have to make up, and that will contain the Flow Hive frames. We've got a bag of fixings, and we've also got some literature. I've seen previous videos on YouTube where new owners haven't read the instructions completely, haven't put them together, and the bees have been escaping out the back inspection door, and it's been a real big problem, and as a result it's put a negative spin on their experience. So make sure that you do the research, make sure that you look at the online tutorials and put it together correctly. You're paying a lot of money for this, so therefore make sure that you put it together correctly and give it the care that it deserves. And hopefully the system will work exactly as I've seen it on YouTube already and exactly as it's been described to me. Right, so now this is the brood box. Let's put it together. Here's the instructions. Really important. Put the kettle on and read them because they're quite detailed, and you want to make sure that you look after your investment. As I mentioned before, it's really expensive. Okay, that's it. So let's read this and have a cup. So this is a perspex sheet that came in with the package. I've just taken the protective screening off, and that fits in the super side here. It's got a rebated area where a door or a panel goes in, which provides insulation and protection. And obviously when you take that out you can observe the bees through the perspex. The rebated side that it fits into didn't have any holes, so I've used a brad awl to mark those out and to make the indentation ready for the screws. We've got 4 panhead screws here, and I'm going to use a bit of PVA just in the rebate because I like to be thorough, and I'll be doing that on all the joints as well. It doesn't mention in the instructions that you should do that, and looking at the dovetail joints, I've no doubt in my mind they're going to be really, really strong, but I come from an old school where you glue and you screw. So that's glue applied to the rebate. I'm going to sit the plexiglass perspex viewing screen in, and now I'm going to screw. So that's the Flow Hive put together. I put on 2 coats of stain, which is a Danish oil. It's a low odour product that won't affect the bees, and naturally we haven't painted the inside, just the outside. And because of the weather here in the UK, we do need some additional protection, and this is a softwood, so it costs quite a lot of money. We want to look after our product. We follow the instructions to the T, and one of the most important things is this adjustment screw. When you're putting these in the box for the first time, you'll have to adjust these screws on the end. And what that will do is it will make sure that the front end of the Flow Hive, the frames are completely in line with each other. And if you were to push one or the one next to it, a gap wouldn't appear between them. That would encourage the bees to come out when you took away this end cover, which means that whilst you're doing the honey harvesting process, you would have bees all around you, and that's not how it's supposed to work. So it's important to make sure that your frames are fully set before you put your Flow Hive super on top of the hive, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm using the long key here, and we fully insert that to the end of each frame, and we're fully engaging it to make sure that the cells are fully set and aren't split, which will allow the bees to fill that with nectar and ultimately refine that to honey. I'm doing it on both sides to make sure it's square, and then if I wanted to harvest the honey, you would slide the key into the bottom section, and you'll see when I turn this, it forces part of the frame to rise up within the section. That would then split the cells and allow the honey to flow down here into the bottom section, and you'd remove this cap here, put your tube in, and then receptacle underneath to collect the honey. So what I'm doing is I'm putting some old honey onto the frames just to encourage the bees to go up there. Since I've taken the crown board off, you can see they're already getting quite excited. They want more space so they can store all the nectar and turn that into honey. So that's the Flow Hive super on now. The bees aren't too agitated, and hopefully very shortly they'll start drawing out the comb in the Flow Hive and start to fill it with nectar and make honey, and we'll be able to follow the whole process on this channel. So the Flow Hive's only been on for about 10 minutes, and already the bees are getting excited and they're working away in between the frames. It's day 3 now since I put the Flow Hive soup on top of my hive, and I'm going to check it now without any veil or gloves, which is unusual for me because I'm petrified of being stung. And it's going to be very interesting to see if the bees are getting in and amongst the frames and starting to fill them with nectar. Let's have a look. So if you look really closely, there's bees in between all of the frames, and you can even see the bees going into the cells. So that's the first time I've ever done an inspection of a beehive without a veil or gloves on. So to see the bees busy is really, really good. They're making good progress. They seem to be engaged with the Flow Hive, and they seem to be busy. So they'll be lining it with wax. They'll be filling it with nectar to refine into honey. So far, so good. I'm really, really pleased.